Welcome back, Brace the Hammer. This is our 10th episode. I can't believe we made it. It's quite unbelievable. We're down to Tommy, but we've gained a Wallace. Welcome, Wallace, to the show. Thank you for joining us,
everyone.
Especially on last minute. Yeah, I can't believe it. 10 episodes. I do have good news, though, for everybody. I was really upset and depressed the last few weeks. I haven't really been doing very well in picks, and it was getting me down. Tom was winning. Georgia almost won 1 week, which was remarkable. He hasn't won since the first episode. But I'm glad to say all is right with the world. Everything is fine. There's no locust, no vermin. Everything's great. I'm back on top. I won the week. 6 picks, pretty easy, smooth sailing. So yeah, I'm just going to gloat a little bit. Beat all of you. So it's exciting. It's an exciting week. Charlie, I hate to say it. Your picks were non-existent. I actually never got them from last week, which is a shame because I feel like you would have had a good week. Georgia stepped in for you and picked a 6-0 over Tottenham. So that was nice. I
didn't actually pick that. I said I would, but I picked 1-0 to Swansea.
I didn't hear that.
That was my Charlie pick.
Yes, sure.
All I heard was 6-0. So we're going to do something a little different today, which I think is going to be I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be exciting. We're going to, instead of going game by game, we're going to do like a kind of like a year-end review. We're going to look at the different storylines kind of what's happening around the EPL, and we're going to try to make it as West Ham centric as possible. But as you know, if you've watched before, we all have our own allegiances, and we'll end with Swansea and West Ham. But we're going to begin first with what I think is a fun category. I want to talk about the team that we all secretly root for. That's not our actual team. I'm a Spurs fan. I know George is an Arsenal fan. Wallace is apparently a Chelsea fan. We just found out, so I apologize for him. And everybody knows Charlie, of course. Who wants to take this off first? Who's the team that you secretly root for week in, week out?
I'll steal your pick, John. Bournemouth.
Yeah.
That's you're just not a nice guy. You knew I had Bournemouth, and you took it.
Bournemouth, man. Bournemouth are best. They're not the best. They're not at all. But I don't know. I just like watching them. They're fun. They play the right type of football. They run well. You know, they're like perennial underdogs, even though they're kind of all right. I like them. I like Bournemouth a lot. I've got literally nothing to complain about with them. They're good.
And I like their manager. Right? I mean, he's like the next up-and-coming English manager, Eddie Howe, and he's great. And I like their stadium. It literally looks like a fucking cherry. It's crazy. It's all red and decked out. It's gorgeous. And I don't know. Every time I watch them, they're energetic and they're fun to watch.
Yeah, there's nothing not to like about them. Like Eddie Howe is like good. Keep him as far away from the England job as humanly possible. Like he's just I like everything to do with them. There's like they've got like a bunch of players who, even once they got promoted to the Premier League, I was still like, wait, who's this guy? And yet they're still great. People like Charlie Daniels and people like that. Like there's literally they get young English players like Lewis Cook and make them look good. There isn't a single thing I don't like about Bournemouth apart from the fact they're not West Ham. Like there literally is not a single thing I do not like about them. I'm all about Bournemouth. My
only critique would be Jordan Ibe. I think. I mean, not that they paid a lot for him. I think $8 million was like a fair sum for Jordan Ibe because there was a lot of promise there, but he just hasn't really lived up to his full potential yet. But I'm with you, and I'm not going to change my pick just because you picked him and stole him from me. I'm just going to go ahead and agree with you and say, fine, you scoundrel. Georgia, what do you got?
Mine might be a little predictable. It's West Ham. I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan, and I support West Ham is my. I guess it's not secret anymore since I'm on BTH, but like that's always been my go-to team. I have a scarf of theirs up in my room, up in at school, and they're just kind of like the team that I don't support them for 2 games all season. Besides that, I'm always pulling for the Hammers. Yeah, so it's pretty simple, honestly.
Wallace,
right? Well, I'm going to go with Southampton. I think they're a really fun team to watch. They haven't really been able to define an identity just because there's so much player turnover. But they're constantly bringing in talented kind of unknown players. They've brought through a couple of really impressive managers too. And I think year on year they're playing good football. They're performing well, and they're an entertaining team to watch.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And of course, they brought on my favorite manager, my hero, my man, the beautiful, the glorious, Mauricio Pochettino. Okay, and apparently I got kids coming in. What's up?
Good night. I'm going to bed.
All right, good night, man. Love you. Get some rest, okay?
I will.
All right, bye. We'll edit that one out.
Definitely keep that in.
You're supposed to teach them how to knock. We've had problems. You don't need to know about that. Where was I? Okay, so moving on after the Mauricio Pochettino. Let's talk about the biggest impactful player, and maybe not the best player, but the one player that every team that team just wouldn't be the same without that individual. I think there's one obvious pick, and I'm going to try to stay away from it. But I'm gonna start with you, Shorja. Who do you think's the most? What's a player that a team could not absolutely go on without?
Wow. Okay, go with me. Well, okay, so I'm just gonna put this out there. All right.
What?
My bed is not.
I can't win. I don't know. All right.
No, it's fun. It's fun. You got some heavy editing to do tonight.
Yeah, that's why we edit. All right, Shorja.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put this out there. The obvious choice is N'Golo Kante. I mentioned this before we started recording, and I'm gonna try my best to stay away from him. My Arsenal pick would be Mustafi, just because we haven't ever lost with him in the squad. We've only drawn, the few losses we've had, one to Southampton in the League Cup, the past two against Man City and Everton, and then at the beginning of the season before he was signed. All four matches we lost where he wasn't in the side, but every single game he's played, that center back pairing of Koscielny and Mustafi, he's our lucky charm. So I think we really wouldn't be the same without him this season. And I'm sorry to go with someone from the team, but
no, that's fine. Okay.
I mean, I can't think of anyone better, because the mentality that he brings to the side, like I'm trying to think of the noun for fierce. Is it fierceness?
Ferocity.
Ferocity, right? Ferocity. The ferocity that he brings to that back line, it's unparalleled. I don't think anyone, even Koscielny, I don't think has that in him. That aggression, that
Well, that's on everybody's shopping list, isn't it? The one thing that everybody seems to overpay for and look for is that good center back, the leader in the back of the field. I mean, look how much Chelsea paid for David Luiz, and look how Tottenham played without Alderweireld. So I mean, that's a fair assessment. I think Mustafi's one of the best signings of the year.
Yeah,
really. And I don't see you just because you're going just because Arsenal's your team. I think that's a fair answer.
Yeah. I couldn't think of anyone else. I mean, I would go with Kante because he's made such an impact on two teams. One.
No. Your answer's Mustafi. You're going to stay with that one.
My answer's Mustafi. Okay.
Okay. All right, Wallace, you're up. What do you got?
All right. I'm going to come back to Southampton again. I'm going to go with Virgil van Dijk. He's been an incredible center half for them. He's a great passer. He's an incredible athlete. Just looking at him run, there are hardly any strikers who can get past him. He's so strong. He's great and comfortable on the ball too. His passing basically gives them an extra midfielder, and he's a goal threat. I think without him, Southampton wouldn't be as high up the table as they are this year.
I think that is an excellent answer. Honestly, I didn't even occur to me, but you're absolutely right.
Before we move on, can I just mention that I actually met Virgil van Dijk? just plugging myself real quick. Sorry. Yeah.
Don't worry, he won't be on Southampton next year. Okay, Charlie.
Can I be sneaky and say Conte?
No, why not? It's open. He took Mustafi, so you can have it.
I think he's been so almost unbelievable. Like, we talk about Southampton's turnovers of manager and how they've managed to be consistently good, but like Conte has been absolutely excellent since he's joined Chelsea. Like, you can talk about the move to 3-4-3 and the players involved. If I wasn't allowed to say Conte, I was going to say Victor Moses, but like he's not only shown that he is fantastic tactically, changing that formation and making it work where other teams haven't been able to, but also like the man management style to get David Luiz to play well, Victor Moses to play well, like all of these people to come together and play as one cohesive unit that are pushing and are in. I don't even know what their win streaks at anymore. Wally would be able to tell us. I don't actually know.
I think
It's 11.
Is it 11? I mean, that's insane.
I believe so. Yeah.
In a Premier League era, in a season, Leicester won the league last season. Let's be honest about it. In the era we're in now, to have 11 wins in a row is unbelievable. It's so good, and I don't know where Chelsea would be without Conte. It's absolutely fantastic.
That's also a good answer. I know we were talking about that off the air before. I just to wrap mine up real quick. I was actually going to try to keep it West Ham centric, and if I had a pick, I think I would go with Kouyaté, and I can already hear most West Ham fans disagreeing with me, but I think the man has been everywhere and anywhere for this team, and he's done remarkable things, especially transitioning to a back three, something he wasn't totally prepared to do. He's saved games. The tackle last week was to save the goal was unreal. I think he's been wonderful, and I don't know where West Ham would be right now without Winston Reid and Cheikhou Kouyaté.
I think if I was to have to pick one, it would be either Kouyaté or Obiang. Obiang
is a close second to me, yeah. But remember that one match that Winston Reid didn't play, and how like everybody looked a little bit disoriented, and that's the only reason I threw Winston Reid in there, is because he's the captain, but Kouyaté for me, I think was probably the most impactful player for West Ham anyway. On the same note, flipping it over, who's been the biggest disappointment of the year? We're gonna go right with you. Go ahead, Charlie.
Simone Zaza. Next question.
Yeah, I think you could put Simone Zaza in most West Ham summer signings, but we can go with Zaza.
I mean, he's just on a whole nother level of ineffectual. I feel so sorry for him because
where are we with him right now?
I don't know. He was. There were some pictures apparently, but there were some pictures 3 days ago of him at like a children's hospital with the rest of the squad. Yeah. And if he was leaving, I feel it's a bit harsh to lob him at a children's hospital right before he leaves. But I don't know. I mean, I feel sorry for him because his work rate isn't in doubt. He does try. He tries hard, and he gets nowhere near as good service as he needs. But he's done literally nothing. And the things he's had a few opportunities and can just scuff them to the stars. And so, I mean, I was thinking, but who else in the league? No, Zaza. Zaza is the answer to the question.
That's fair. Wallace.
Well, I'm going to throw in another West Ham player, Havard Nordveit. I was actually really excited for him when West Ham announced they were getting him, especially on a free. He was really impressive with Borussia Mönchengladbach, but it hasn't worked at all. He hasn't performed at center back, at right back, or at defensive mid. He's been a big disappointment, and now he can't even get a game with the team.
I think I'm kudos for being able to pronounce Borussia. Let's say I can't even say it. I can't. I try every time I mess it up. I just can't get it out. Do it again. Say it again. I want to be impressed.
Mönchengladbach.
Thank you, Mönchengladbach. Giorgio, what do you got?
You stay away from a Norwegian prince, okay? Havard Nordveit. I just say that because he's a former Arsenal man. I can't think of anyone but Dimitri Payet for this because. Huh?
That was gonna be mine, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I really, based on the expectations we had for him after last season. And, I mean, you can excuse him because he wasn't supposed to perform as well as he did last season. But, based on that and the Euros, he's just completely disappeared. He just doesn't seem to care anymore.
Why does he play well nationally but not for the club?
Yeah.
Is it just better players around him, or?
I think it's just because it's a bigger stage. I honestly think that it's like an ego trip thing now. I still love him as a player. Don't get me wrong. I want him to succeed, but I want him to do that for West Ham because I don't think that it's kind of like if I may relate this to like college basketball a bit. Like a lot of players like on teams that don't do too well, they sometimes show up when a game is nationally televised, and more people are watching England games than, or sorry, not England games. More people are watching France, like French national team games than West Ham games. So I think he's like really trying to make a case for himself to move somewhere else, and I just don't think that's right. He can do that, but you're getting paid. You're not getting paid by the national team. You're getting paid by West Ham, and he should be showing up for those performances.
Charlie, is that unfair?
No, not really. I mean, I think his attitude has been questioned by most fans throughout a lot of the season. I will say, in his defense, I mean, so far this season he's created 61 chances, which I know 2 or 3 games ago he was the most chance created in the league, in Europe's top 5 leagues, but I don't know where that's at now. I know he's got 61 chances so far this season, and I think after that, the next person after that is Lanzini with 18, which shows you just how impactful he is on the team. I think he is being undersold massively by what's ahead of him, and what's around him in that sense. It's easier. A lot could be said about how good you are as a player. Will Messi do it on a Tuesday night in Stoke? All that rubbish. But like, there is something to be said about, especially a player like Ozil or Payet, where their main thing is for creating. You have to be able to create for something, and there has been nothing to create for. However, you can't look at him and say he hasn't been disappointing this season, especially given, like you say, the context of the situation. Like, it's a huge disappointment in that sense. You can't argue that at all.
I want to say that he may not be the biggest disappointment all season, but I think he's my biggest disappointment, because I had a lot of things planned. I thought he was going to do really well. I had a jersey in the works that I wanted to get for him, but now I don't know. He might be leaving. He was
the headliner, at least for our blog, and a bigger reason. One of the biggest reasons we not that this was created, but it was nice when he was considered a world-class player. And to be fair, I don't know if he's fallen off of that, but he's getting pretty close.
I think he still is a world-class player, but
I think it's there. I just don't think he's shown it.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he wants to.
I mean, in flashes, he has that goal against Middlesbrough. I'm not sure how many other players in the world could have scored that. The one where he beat, it was like 6 or 7 players.
One with like 6 people.
Yeah.
But it's just not consistent enough. I mean, if you want to be considered a world-class player, you have to be producing on that stage constantly, and he isn't.
I think
there's another, not to move away from Payet, but I do think there's another player who is going to be my disappointment of the year, and I know Short is going to
No, I know who you're going for. I mean,
yeah. But it's not just me. I feel like a lot of pundits and a lot of writers have been talking about this. Mesut Ozil has been massively disappointing for Arsenal, and not just because I'm a Spurs fan. I mean, Arsenal fans I speak to talk about the same thing. He's got 2 assists all year. He's only got 5 goals, which isn't the worst. Maybe 9 in all competitions you were saying earlier, but when it counts. So 2 assists, and I think Iwobi has more. He's got 3 or 4. So it's I don't know what's happening with him, but I feel like he turns it on and he turns it off, and I just haven't seen it really yet this year at all. Even so I don't know. Is there a reason for that, Georgia? What's going on in Arsenal camp?
I think people are. I don't want to be. So Ozil isn't the only guy that's like supposed to be our talisman. We have Sanchez, we have other players, we have Koscielny, we have a good solid spine of the team. We have Petr in goal, but I was a little harsher on Dimitri because he's supposed to be West Ham's talisman. Like he's the identity of the club. At least he has been for the past 2.5 years. But it seems like Lanzini's been picking up that load, and I'm actually very impressed with how he's doing this season. But that's another topic. Regarding Ozil, I try not be as harsh as I would be on a talisman. Like say someone who was brought in, like someone like Pogba, who they paid 90 million for, and he just hasn't produced immediately. I try not to, because Ozil, he's still, you see all these Twitter videos of him not pressing and not putting in his defensive duties, but in my opinion, he's still.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is it the player, because he's always had good company, right? I think it's fair to say throughout most of his career he's always had good company. Because Orla goes down.
Yeah.
right? And then he kind of disappears. Is that a fair link or no?
Yeah, no, I Cazorla not playing is kind of an it's like a damage to the entire team because I think he really holds that defensive partnership together. But I think it's unfair to say that it's just impacting Mesut Ozil. I think it impacts everyone because with Cazorla we're a different team.
All right, let's move on from that. I like all of those, and I think the best shout so far has been Van Dijk. I'm still impressed by that one, Wallace. I like it. It didn't even occur to me, but you're absolutely right. And I do like Southampton was second to Bournemouth for my teams that I root for. I really do like Southampton. Let's move on to relegation. Right, 3 teams got to go. Currently, the standings are a little bit wonky. People keep moving in and out. Swansea's flirting with the bottom. Sunderland, they win one week, they look awful the next, and they look great again the next weekend. Let's go. Who do we think our bottom 3 is going to be? Who wants to go first? Wallace, you want to take this one?
I think there are a couple certainties. Hull City, unless something incredible happens, I think Hull City are probably going down. They just don't have the players, the Premier League quality to stay up. And Swansea, I hate to say it because I really do like Bob Bradley as a manager, but things don't look good for them at all over there right now. Their defense is abysmal. Their attack is inconsistent. Their midfield, apart from Gylfi Sigurdsson, sometimes Leroy Fer, is ineffective. So I think Swansea, unless there's a big change or they bring in some real quality in the January window, are in trouble. Crystal Palace just brought in Sam Allardyce, and I don't know if they'll be able to stay up. They've looked really, really poor defensively, but with somebody like Christian Benteke, I think he'll be able to keep them alive. So I'm going to say for my 3rd relegated team, Burnley. And I like their manager, Sean Dyche, and they've got some good players, Tom Heaton, Michael Keane, but they just don't have the quality going forward, I think.
Yeah, I again, maybe I should start answering first because people keep taking my picks. But I had the same. I had Hull at the very, very bottom. I think instead of Swansea though, I've Burnley right above them, and I think this is the year Sunderland finally goes down. And I feel awful saying that because I do like them as a club, and I know they try hard. I don't think Swansea goes down. I think they do have quality. I'm worried that one transfer window is not going to be enough for Bob to fix this team. I know he's got targets, but getting players in January to fix a squad has never, ever, ever worked. Ask Newcastle.
It worked for Sunderland last
year. It did work
year,
for Sunderland. I'll give you that. Yeah,
but that's an aberration, I think. Usually.
Yeah. So I mean, John Joe Shelby, you could probably speak to that. So that's where I'm at with it. Georgia, what do you think?
I'm actually gonna go with the 3 that are in the bottom 3 right now. So Hull, Swansea, Sunderland. But I also think that Crystal Palace might sneak in. I think Burnley's gonna stay up. I just think that with I don't know how many home matches they have left, but 19 in the year. They're gonna win some. They're gonna draw some. I think they're gonna rarely lose their home matches. Eventually, they're very sound. So I don't see them. I don't personally see them going down. But Crystal Palace, this may be the year. But otherwise, Sunderland, Swansea, and Hull seems pretty set in stone, in my opinion.
Charlie, take it home.
I've let my heart rule my head completely with this one. I refuse to say Swansea will go down. Bob Bradley is going to get 1-0 wins until the end of time. I don't care what happens. It's happening. Hull, I think we all agree, will be down. I said it before the beginning of the season. I'm saying it now. They're destined for relegation. Unfortunately, I've put them 20th. I think this is the season Sunderland bite the dust. Can Jermaine Defoe save them again? I don't think he can. He might even be going in January. To be honest, I don't think he'll leave in January, but If he does, they're definitely down, and if not, I don't think he's going to be able to save them again. And then 18th, again, I say heart all my head. I've gone with Palace.
Really?
I mean, when I saw a quote, I don't know if it was real or not, but I think it might have been one of their, it might be Steve Parish or someone like that, saying that their style of play under Pardew was too ambitious, which is just sheer lunacy. They've brought in Sam Allardyce, who's just ruthlessly effective, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I think he's wetting himself at the idea of being able to play long balls to Christian Benteke all day, but I don't know. I'm desperate for him to be found out. I'm desperate for him to be found out, and I'm really hoping that this will be the time.
Crystal Palace is run by a bunch of cowboys from the U.S. I don't know. I feel like they'll just keep pouring money into it until it's fixed. That's what we do here.
I don't know if they can though. This January, they spent very, very heavily in the summer, very heavily, especially for Crystal Palace. So I don't know if they're going to be able to spend that money in January. But I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah. Plus, I really like Zaha. I don't want to see him go. I guess worst case he leaves in the summer, but I think he's a fun player to watch. And I don't know. I just don't see CP going down. Plus, they're a London club run by Americans.
I'm surprised you said Zaha and not Andros Townsend.
There's not a lot of love there. So
Mr. Cut Inside and Shoot, mate. Going to cut inside and shoot all the way to the championship. It'd be fine for a second year in a row.
Okay. All right. So on the flip side of that, we're going to go with our top 4 predictions, which I think is going to be way more interesting. And I'm going to give Charlie a break there. Shorja, I know you think Arsenal is going to win the league, but let's try to keep it realistic.
It is realistic still, because there's more than half a season left. But I'm not hopeful, is what I'm going to say. Arsenal's going to be in the top 4, whether you like it or not. You know, no team in the league can say for the past 20 years, including Man U and Liverpool, that they've been in the top 4 for the entire, or not the entire Premier League, for the past 20 years. That is an achievement that you can't take away from this man, and I will stand by him till the day he dies, or till his legacy is tarnished.
Got real morbid there.
I don't know where I was going with that, but basically, I'm with him till the end, is what I'm trying to say. I am, so Arsenal in the top 4, Chelsea's in there, Liverpool and Man City. Yeah, not in that order necessarily, but
I demand an order. I need an order.
You need an order?
I want an order.
Oh.
Who wins the league? Give me one.
I mean, I can't say it. Looks like right now it looks like Chelsea will win the league, but I don't think they will. I don't think they continue this round.
All right, Wallace.
Okay. Well, my heart says Chelsea are going to win the league, but after last season, I'm having a hard time trusting the players. And I know they've been performing fantastically so far, but just the knowledge that they have those terrible performances in them, even the start of this season, those losses to Liverpool and Arsenal, we showed there can be games where we completely fall apart. So I'm going to go with an outside shout and say Liverpool are going to win the title this year. And I know no Premier League title yet, but Jurgen Klopp has got them playing really impressively. Mane, Firmino, Coutinho, Lallana in attack is really fluid, fast. They've got maybe not like a 20-goal a season player, but they've got a lot of 10, 11, 12-goal a season players in there. And I think Klopp's going to be able to pull it out.
Is that the best line in the EPL? Is the best front line?
Attacking line? I think so.
I agree. I think you're right.
And then to round out my top 4, probably Arsenal, Chelsea, and it's going to be between the 2 Manchester clubs, City and United. But I think that Guardiola is just going to pull it out and get 4th place. Well,
I liked you until that last one. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Charlie.
I'm actually going to agree slightly with Wallace here and say that I've got Liverpool to finish first. I backed them before the season started to finish first, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm again probably letting my head rule my heart rule my head, but Liverpool are just very, very good. I think it's going to be huge for them. I think they need to. If Divock, Origi, and Sturridge can step up, then I think they could do it. Mane leaving for African Cup of Nations, for example, is going to be a big hit. I don't know. I think Joel Matip's going to leave as well, and so they're gonna have some hits. But I back them. I rate Jurgen Klopp too highly not to. Having said that, if it's not them, it's definitely going to be Chelsea. Jesus Christ. So I've got Chelsea second. Then I'm going to say Manchester City in third, and then Georgia, Arsenal rep in fourth. So the day Arsene Wenger leaves or whatever you ended up saying in the end, it's Arsenal fourth.
Hogwash, I say to all of that. Awful. I think this is finally the year we don't have to celebrate St. Totteringham's Day. And so I'm that's going to be my big leap. I actually think Arsenal finished fifth, with Spurs finishing fourth. Yeah, that's right.
So you're saying Spurs will finish ahead of Arsenal.
Sidebar.
And
do you celebrate St. Totteringham's Day?
To me, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I don't know. What day is that?
It very much does exist. Whether you celebrate it or not is the question.
Right. Of course, I celebrate it by drinking and then crying.
That's how I celebrate too. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, drinking and
crying tears of joy. But I think Totteringham Day finally ends. I don't think it happens this year. I'm sorry, I don't. I think I mean, I don't know. I honestly, like, it sucks because, like, I really don't know. I know all these teams spend way more money than, like, my boys do, and I want to believe in the kids. We have, like, the youngest squad.
30 million on Musa Sissoko, okay?
Okay, that's one signing. Everybody keeps bringing that up. And it was like, it was totally on the way. It was very unlike our club, too, to do something like that, which is weird. But we still have the youngest squad in the EPL. And I think they still have lessons to learn. If they don't finish in the top four, I'm not going to be disappointed.
You got nothing.
You got what?
You got nothing to lose. I mean,
that's true. We don't. I mean, we have Europe to lose, and I would not be disappointed if Spurs took a shift towards looking at Europe and trying to focus on the Europa League this year. But either way, my heart wants to say fourth for Spurs. I actually think United is really being overlooked here. I think they're a lot better club than people are giving them credit for. I think their defense is a little shaky, but once they work that out, they'll be doing really well. Pogba, yeah, he was playing a little deep before, but I definitely he's found his rhythm the last few days. And Ibrahimovic, just to bring him up for a second, has anybody been more surprised by anybody this year than by Zlatan? Isn't it like insane? I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, he's either too old, he's not going to be able to compete with the speed of the EPL, and he almost signed with MLS, like this close to playing for the Galaxy. So it's kind of crazy that he has 11 goals, and he looks like he's 28 instead of 35.
I wouldn't say I was surprised by him. I think he was going to come in and score goals regardless. Actually, I mean, his game's never been that reliant on pace anyway. And playing last season, he didn't look like he's lost any of his strength or anything like that. So I wasn't that shocked. But I mean, I think for me, I put Arsenal fourth first. I'm sorry, Georgia, I did. But then it was between City or United for me. And I think although Jose is ruthlessly relentless in that sort of that sense, way more than Pep is, I think that this is. United have some very good players, but this is probably them playing at their level right now. I think they can grind out 1-0 wins all day till the cows come home with Jose and the players they've got, and they have the ability. But like City, that team are like sleeping giants. Like when they all come together, they are just unbelievably good. Just so good when they come together. And I think for Pep, it's going to be more of a case of getting that out on a consistent basis than anything else. And I back him to do that more than I back United to play any higher than they are right now.
I think that's fair. I think my biggest question mark was United or City, because I do have Chelsea and Liverpool being 1 and 2, and I think Chelsea comes out on top. And I hate saying it, but I really do. I just think that team is really good, really well-rounded. As much as Liverpool is good, I just can't shake the Liverpool I saw for the first the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and defensively they were a little shaky. I think they absolutely have the best line, and I think they will outgun any other team. But watching that Bournemouth game, there were a lot more questions that were raised than answers for certainty. So that's my top. I got Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2, United 3, and just because I have to, Spurs 4. I think we're going to take a quick commercial break because we lost Georgia. All right, so focusing now on the EPL so far as a whole. We talked about the most impactful player, but who do we think, if the EPL gave out Ballon d'Ors for midway through the season, who is that player? Who's been the MVP? Wallace, I'm going to start with you. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to give it to my guy, Diego Costa. He's been incredible this year. Not only is he scoring goals just about every day, every game, and crucial goals too, match winners, equalizers, he's also assisting better than he ever has. He looks so much he looks like he's in better shape physically than he did last year. He's faster, he's stronger, he's quicker. He's better technically too, dribbling, passing. He's just been on another level this season.
Yeah, that's fair. You can't argue with any of those points. And on top of that, I think Conte has gotten him to be less of a jerk, which is, I guess, a challenge in of itself.
Only mildly. I'm gonna probably still just pick and say Sanchez. I think Sanchez has been just so flipping good. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about the heavy defeat we suffered to them, but in that game, I mean, he not that he came up against much resistance, but no one could have stopped him that game regardless. He was turning people, sprinting past people like there was no tomorrow. I mean, and he's kept up that momentum. I think Sanchez is just, out of the two, everyone keeps going, oh, they're holding Arsenal to ransom, Ozil and Sanchez, but I don't even think there's a competition. If you had to pick one, you just pick Sanchez. I'd get rid of Ozil in a second over him. I mean, Sanchez has been absolutely fantastic. It doesn't matter where he's playing, on the wing, up front, it doesn't matter. That dude is just unbelievably good. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
I'm gonna build off you and echo that, and it pains me to say it, but the man is something else. I mean, he's second in goals, he's second in assists too. He doesn't just score goals; he creates them, and it makes Arsenal a scary team, and it makes you wonder where Arsenal will be without Alexis Sanchez, which is especially this year. And I don't know the answer to that question. I think that question probably keeps Georgia up at night. But if gun to head, if I had to pick someone, I think it would absolutely be Alexis Sanchez. Second to De Bruyne, which is a weird pick, but not only does he lead the league in assists, but I think also chances created or something, or he's close to it so far this year. He doesn't have the goals to back it up, but he's definitely been the creator for Man City. Again, I got to go with Sanchez. Go ahead, Georgia.
I'm a big fan of I wanted to pick Sanchez, and my heart says that is my pick for MVP. Because I agree with you. There's so many Mesut Ozil fanboys that are just screaming about how, like, oh yeah, we can't, anyone can score, but you need a creator. And I was like, all right, well, the creator's not there this season. And no, anyone can't score, because we put people up top and we see that some people can't score. So Sanchez for me is the all-around deal. I think that Wenger playing him up front is a revelation. But I'm going to make John happy, and I'm going to say that Hugo Lloris is my MVP, because Tottenham wouldn't be where they are.
Stop it.
It's Christmas, man. So I just gotta.
I feel like do you see that?
Yeah. I highly rate him. He's probably him and Toby, I think, are just sensational. And I think without them,
have like Stockholm syndrome.
No, but I really rate those two guys, and I think that Toby was a very smart buy. I don't know why Lloris is at Tottenham. No disrespect to.
What's keeping Lloris from being one of the best goalkeepers in the world? His footwork is horrible, absolutely horrible. He almost gives away a goal almost every game because of his passing in the backfield, and he almost loses the ball single-handedly. But other than that, that's the only thing keeping him from being super, super duper world class. I think his reactions are insane, and he saves a game for us every single time.
Yeah.
Every single game, my brothers and I talk about this every week because we watch the games together at the bar, and we say, thank effing God for Hugo Lloris every single week. It's crazy.
Yeah, seriously.
So I appreciate the shout. Thank you.
I mean, I'm not even trying to like.
It's like giving the DH the MVP. You just don't do it.
No, but I really truly believe that he has kept Tottenham in the mix. Him or and I would pick like Mustafi or Sanchez because I think they're the most impactful players on my team. I thought about going with Luis or not Costa, sorry, Hazard, but they're great players. They just had a down year or Hazard at least had a down. Hazard and Costa both had a down year last season. It's not like they've been real MVP, but Hugo Lloris has just been better and better every season. So I think I got to give it to him.
Yeah, not just domestically, but internationally as well. He was great in the Euros, and But you're right. You're absolutely right. That being said, let's move on. Let's talk about West Ham a little bit. And this is a West Ham site, and I suppose we should talk about them at some point. They're playing. Of course, they're playing Swansea coming up this week. They're playing at Swansea at Liberty, and it's a must-win. Absolutely, for both teams. They absolutely need this. Bilic needs this. This was supposed to be his check mark in the win column when you looked at the fixtures ahead after the rough stretch with Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool. Everybody kind of relied on the Swansea game coming up as maybe not a breather, but something we can kind of pin our hopes to. And on the flip side, Bradley absolutely needs a win. They are second from bottom of the table. They look horrible defensively. I kind of feel bad for Gylfi Sigurdsson. I'm a huge fan of the player. He just looks miserable. So I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting match, especially since they're playing at Swansea. And I have a hard time picking a winner here. Of course, we're not seeing Zaza, Gakantore, or Reece Oxford or anybody like that. Sacco's now out for another 2 months, which is fun for everybody. And on this flip side, Swansea's missing Fernandez, maybe something, and then Key. So I'm not sure about Pedro Obiang. He's out for suspension, right? Or is he injured?
He's suspended.
Okay. So yeah, that's the setup. It's a must-win for both teams. I have a very nagging feeling that this might end in a draw, but I'm going to kick it off to Charlie to start off with.
Yeah, I mean, a draw's not the worst shout in the world. I mean, I'm not nervous. I mean, no, that's a lie. I'm nervous. I think we need a win, probably as much as we ever have right now. I think we need a convincing win as well. The last 2 wins have been almightily scrappy, just almost horrendous. Like that whole game was bad. It was really, really bad, and we got a get out of jail free card with that penalty. It wasn't even meant to be, and we just didn't deserve it in any way, shape, or form. We did not deserve it, and I think even the game before that, it was touch and go for a while. I think we need to step up our performance. We need to step up our results. We need to step up everything, and I think the key to that for me would be changing to 4 at the back. I think we just look better with 4 at the back. I think every time we play 3, we look just people are odds and ends. People don't know what's going on. Wing backs aren't getting back quick enough. They're either pinned back too far. We need to play a strict 4-2-3-1 for me and just get the creative juices flowing, because otherwise, as a team, we're just not going to get anywhere. And whether that happens or not is another question. I'm very, 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 very apprehensive. Also, as you know, I have a penchant for saying Swansea 1-0, and so my heart is being torn out right now. I don't know what to say, but I'm gonna go. Oh my god! We're gonna. West Ham are going to win 2-1, but if Swansea win 1-0, all I'm saying is I have called it several times. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
So regardless of the score, you can say, "Oh, I knew this was going to happen."
Yes, that's exactly what. Yes, 100% correct.
Okay,
yes.
good. All right, putting it down for 2-1.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, Wallace, your grand West Ham debut. What do you got?
Okay. First I just want to run through. I think the lineup question is a really interesting one. We do need to figure out who we bring in for Obiang, who's been impressive alongside Noble. I'd actually like to see us play a 4-4-2. I want us to play Carroll and Antonio up top like we did in the second half against Hull, and really go for it. Swansea have been a mess this year, and I think if we really attack them, run at their defenders, we can get a statement win. So I'm going to be optimistic and say 3-0 to West Ham.
Wow, 3-0 from the rookie. I love it. Shorja.
I'm gonna go 1-0 to West Ham. Just because I think they played well over the past few weeks, ever since the debacle against Arsenal. It's funny because I'm always like sort of last whenever we talk about West Ham. So all the stuff that I have planned is already said by whoever comes before.
I didn't go yet, so you're actually third.
I know, but I'm just saying, like I just never have anything left to say. But I'm not too caught up on like injury news at the moment. But I do think that they should play with 4 at the back. They do look more stable with 4 at the back. Caught a couple glimpses of their most recent games. I watched the extended highlights. They look better, and my prediction is 1-0. I think they're gonna keep at it with these. They're gonna get the first goal and sit back, and I don't see Swansea scoring, honestly.
All right, yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I kind of like Wallace. I see them going with maybe not a 4-4-2, but like an augmented 4-4-2, like a 4-3-2-1. I think having Lanzini and Pyatt up front is kind of like an attacking midfielder role, and then Andy up front, just being the stalwart center forward he is. I need Ayew back in the lineup from the start. I mean, I think him playing on the right-hand side was awesome. I think it was great, and that's when they kind of look the best. He moves the ball well, surprisingly for a forward, and yeah, that's 4 in the back. It's like a no-brainer at this point, right? I mean, every time they start out with 3 and they're terrible, then they switch to 4 at the half. It's like, who is this team? Well, it's probably what they should have been in the beginning. So that's what I'm hoping to see. I would like to see more Fletcher, and I think they played well. He played well in the beginning of the season when he was filling in when he had to, but he didn't play bad. In fact, at some point for the first 2 months, he was the best striking option. He wasn't scoring goals, but he didn't look horrible, and he was running around like he wanted it. And I think that's something when you want to make a statement game, which Charlie was talking about. You need that. You need that drive, and I feel like a lot of West Ham players, they say they want it, and they say they have the drive, but then you watch a 1-0 against Hull, and you're like, where is it? So that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some youth. I'd like to see some effort. I want to see some pace, and I want to see Ayew on the right-hand side. I think they do win. Even though I have a gut feeling it's a draw, but I'll never predict a draw. So I'm going to go I'm going to copy Charlie and go 2-1 West Ham, because I do feel like Swansea could squeak out a goal, especially West Ham seems to do that. So I think it's going to be 2-1 as well.
Yeah, what I will say is I agree with you, but I think he has to play on the right. I think if we are to play like a 4-2-3-1, which is what I would want, the 3 would be Payet, Lanzini, Ayew. I think those 3, like when Payet and Lanzini link up, they start to look really good and smart and intelligent play and movement and stuff. I think Ayew is the final piece of that puzzle. I think Mikel Antonio is an amazing battering ram, but he is a battering ram nevertheless. Technically he's not there, whereas Ayew's got that deft touch to him, the passing to him, the movement to him, and I think doesn't matter really who we play ahead of him almost. I think those 3 have the potential to be just an absolutely fantastic group of players together. And yeah, like you say, Ashley Fletcher, man, he has the passion, the drive that no one else seems to have at the moment.
Were you surprised by Ayew's ability? I mean, I feel like I didn't know that was really part of his game, to be honest with you. I didn't know that he was he almost looks like a good midfielder, which is a little weird.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Garner randomly, and so I was sort of aware of how good he was.
In our 10 episodes, that is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a random one. I'm not gonna lie, but I was aware of sort of how good he was technically, but so I had the hope that he could link up well, but I also had the sort of idea that he was bought as a striker and was going to play up front, and I got a little bit more worried about that. But when he has played there in that position and linked up with them, I've been super happy, and so hopefully we can see a bit of that. And if we do, I think that might be the solution to our sort of turgid front line. I think having those three behind, linking up behind someone, anyone, even someone like Antonio Martinez, who's banging them in for the youth team at the moment, get him in. I don't mind. Just put someone in there who wants it, whether that be Carroll, Fletcher, or Martinez.
Who gets the nod instead of Owen Kamara? You think Edmilson gets put in there?
There's a few options. I think for me, because we're saying go back to a back four, I would probably put Kiate there and just have Kiate and Noble. They've worked well in the past. I think Kiate has a tendency to go completely missing in midfield, but he's a very good option. Outside of that, yeah, probably Fernandez is probably the guy you would go to for that role.
Maybe he's only 19 or 20 years old, so kids got to see him, and the only way they get better is by playing. So I'd like to see him play more. Yeah,
you could go North right as well, depending on who you play right back.
That was what I was about to ask. Who do you see playing at right back? Antonio or Kuyate or Nordveit to play back there?
In my perfect lineup, you have Ayew playing on the right hand side, so Antonio's got to be at right back. It's not his best, but it's not bad. And I just want to give a shout out to Shorja for just starting to follow me on Instagram about 2 seconds ago. Just got that alert I saw on my phone. So.
Listen, he heard you talking about that back four, and he was like, "This guy, he knows his stuff. Bang, follow, let's go."
Yeah. But yeah, I would put Antonio right back. You need him. You need him on the squad. You can't leave him off just because you think he needs to be out there because he is a battering ram. And you know what? I know we kind of say a lot of times we give him a hard time by not having technical ability, but last week, he actually made some good moves, and I was impressed with him. I was more impressed than I have been in the past. So I think it's there. I just think we need to. I think everybody on this squad right now is kind of trying to win the game by themselves instead of playing more as a unit. But I like Bilic. I think he's got passion for the club. I think he's got passion for the game. I think he likes his players. He's a players coach. And I really think this. I think at the end of the day, if you're going to add up quality in the scales, I think they tip favorably towards West Ham. And even though they're playing away, I just don't see Swansea, especially given the way their defense is playing, pulling out any type of victory here. So for me, in my head, it's like worst case a draw, best case absolutely a win.
I think just to back you up very briefly on that Antonio thing as well. I would play Nordveit at right back because I just think defensively he's way more solid than Antonio is. But I'd play Antonio up front, actually, now you've said it. I think he can pull that Swansea defence around all day, all night, and then having those three behind him just wandering into the space he creates, that's like dream scenario for me. But yeah, follow Jonathan on Instagram if you don't already.
Yeah, I see. We must be live because Tom just posted a picture of Shorja following me, or now following Tom on Instagram as well. Shorja, are you here on this podcast? Or?
I'm here. What, a man can't multitask?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Well, that's it from us. I mean, that's our 10th episode. I'm really excited. I didn't know when we started this that we'd actually get 10 episodes. We started out with 8 viewers, and now we have about 35. So I'll take it. I think that's great. Yeah. Exactly. So, like us, follow us, whatever you want to do. Visit us. Especially. Yeah, follow me on Instagram. At Jonathan Liebling. I think.
Not Tom, though. Do not follow Tom. Tom is a slacker. Tom, if you see this, you're a slacker. Tom is a slacker and does not deserve your follows. However, John's good. John's
a champ. Tom couldn't make it tonight. So that's all I'm going to say. So follow us, especially visit bracethehammer.com. We got some smart people. We got some good writers who know what they're talking about. And, of course, we're backed by the wonderful SB Nation. And that is it. 10 episodes in. Hopefully we get 10 more to go and beyond. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weekend. Boxing Day games. Real exciting.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Brits.
Oh, yeah, the holidays. That too. Merry Christmas. Peace.